Okay, this is awesome because this is recorded, so I will be able to upload this and you guys can watch it back later. So what's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. My name is Nicole and I'm a person in recovery. My sobriety date is July 13th of 2015. Tonight, you guys, we are going to be talking about all things addiction and recovery. I'm going to be answering questions to those of you guys that have questions about my experience on multiple substances, how I got sober, how I'm doing now, what I do to stay sober every single day, and so on and so forth. I want you guys to know that I'm here to help you. I'm here to support anyone. I am someone who wants to bridge the gap between the addicted person and the sober person. I want there to be support for you if you're still in active addiction. And I think that there is not a big enough support network out there for people who are still actively using drugs and alcohol. And I want you guys to know that I'm here to support you, no matter if you're sober or not. And I want you to know that you're safe here and you can talk about what you're going through and you can share if you're struggling. And if you're getting high still, I want you to ask questions and I want to talk to you about what you're going through. So please let me know if you need anything. And we were on live stream on TikTok and we were having such a great time. Hey Byron, hey Sky. Okay girl, I'll see you when you come back. Hey Sydney, hey Carrie, hey Brian. I want you guys to know that, I'm here to answer questions. I'm here to help you. And I'm pissed because TikTok, somebody's hating on me over there, you guys. And that's why they banned my live. I wasn't saying anything bad. I was literally talking about the reason why I got sober was because my son got taken away from me. So please, Brian, anybody that's on TikTok, if you can right now, please do me a solid and screenshot this video and go and let people and make a video on your account. Hey, Nicole, and let people know that I'm live here on YouTube. If you can, share this video into the Facebook group, our Facebook group, which is Real Talk Recovery with Nicole on Facebook. If there's any way you guys can share this live stream to people on TikTok, message it to them or whatever, I don't know, but we had so many people in there that were asking for help and support and asking questions, and I'm bummed, man. I am so bummed. I'm so bummed. I just don't understand how people think that I'm over here. Anyways, we're not going to talk about. Yeah. Hey, Nick. Oh, wow, that's awesome. Carrie. So underneath this video, if you go out of the chat, you'll see a little share button that has an arrow. There, you can do it that way. But I am so bummed out, man. Like, we had so many people in there, and I'm banned for 23 hours. And this has happened to me before, where they banned me for 4 hours. Yes, that's what I need to do. I have a backup account, you guys. It's called, I have 2 backup accounts. I got to share them on my account for us to get it to 1,000. Anyways, we were talking about all things. It was just great. So anyways, the way I got sober was when my little boy got taken away from me, and that was the thing that made me change. I had been using drugs for 13 years, and I never really had a reason to get and stay sober. At least I didn't think I had a reason. And when I had my little boy, that's when my conscience really, I started like battling myself. I started thinking about, because they're haters. It's a hater is what it is. It's a hater. I wouldn't be surprised if it's who. That girl. I would not even be surprised. There's like a whole crew of girls on TikTok that don't like me because I don't fucking put up with their bullshit. But anyway, shoot, I guess what I'll do is I'll just start talking, and if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask me. I don't want to tell my whole story, but I'll tell you. Okay, so I guess I'll tell whatever y'all want to know. Just ask me anything, you guys. You guys keep the questions coming. I'll keep answering them, okay? So over on my TikTok, I had made a video about my first time using methamphetamine, and that video is at like 20,000 views right now. And so I had a bunch of questions coming through on that video. that I was answering. And so I'll go ahead and I'll just use one of the questions from that video. One of the questions was, do I resent my friends that gave me methamphetamine for the first time? Oh, first, Nick, I probably will be off by May of next year. I'm giving myself another 6 months or so. Probably May of next year. Hey, Sonia. So my husband just relapsed. He had almost 3 months and I have 7 months. My question is, how do I handle that situation? I'm so frustrated. I don't want to go back to that place. Nichole, that is a great question. And I'm so proud of you for staying sober through that, because that is hard, girl. I've totally been there. I've been there. I got you. Okay. And so let me tell you, when my husband relapsed, I went about it all wrong. Okay. I went about it all wrong, and I got very angry. I got very physically abusive to him, like where I was like throwing stuff at him and like trying to punch him and stuff. I'm not proud of it. It was a bad moment for me. But what I did was I did not set boundaries, and I did not hold him accountable. So I don't want you to do the same thing I did. If he relapsed, he needs to get help. There's no, oh, I'll just stop today and I won't ever go back. And what that help could mean, okay, is getting involved in therapy, going to meetings and getting a sponsor, going to IOP, intensive outpatient, going into treatment. Because you don't want it to become a pattern, because what happened to my husband was I did not hold him accountable, and he made it a pattern, and he kept relapsing and relapsing and relapsing and relapsing. And if we had nipped it in the bud right away, that probably wouldn't have kept happening, and we probably wouldn't be where we're at today. So, which is, he's finally got like 2 weeks sober, basically. That's how much he's been relapsing. Okay, so it's already become a pattern. So, girl, separate yourself from him. If you can have him stay somewhere else, like his parents' house or something like that, but you don't disrupt your life for him, okay? Because you're not doing anything wrong. You don't have to move and go anywhere, okay? He needs to. And it's going to be really hard, because it's been really hard for me. So I'm not going to be like, you have to kick him out. But I'll tell you this. The best thing I ever did was have my husband go to his mom's house, not sleep at our house, and then have him go to therapy and get in with a therapist. It's expensive. It's like $150 every week, and we have insurance, but I had to do something, man. I had to do something. How are you doing, and what has led to your long-term sobriety? Well, first of all, I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for asking, Shelly. And what led to my long-term sobriety was I wanted to have my son back, and I wanted better for myself. And I can't tell you guys enough how much I never even thought that I would be where I'm at today. Like, to some people, it might not be a big deal, but to me, having my family back and having my job is a miracle. And I never thought that I would be able to do any of that. I never thought that I would be able to be my son's mother. I thought that I was going to lose him forever. And so the love of my son is what led me to long-term sobriety, because I just didn't want to be without him. He drives me insane, but I love my little boy more than anything in the whole wide world. And by loving my son, I have learned to love myself in recovery. And I learn every day how to love myself even more. When your husband relapses, does it trigger you? Sydney. Yes, it triggers me. It triggered me really bad one time, and I was like asking him to give me drugs too, but he didn't have any on him, so but by the grace of God, and because I utilize my support network, okay, anytime my husband relapses, you guys, I come on here and I talk about it, or I call somebody and I talk about it. I do not try to handle it by myself, okay? Please understand that. Like, I'm not over here hiding and being ashamed or not telling the truth. Like, I tell it. And that has been my savior, is the fact that I am open and I just share what's happening, because it takes the pressure off me and I'm not so alone in dealing with that situation. If you do a relapse, does that mean you have to start your days over again, or is it just considered a lapse and you still keep going? You know, it really depends on you. If you're a person who wants to count your time and it's important to you to, be honest and transparent about your lapses and stuff, then, start over and just be honest about it. But guys, don't put so much pressure on the time that you're staying sober. Don't put so much focus on the days, because listen to me, okay? I don't even know how many days I've been sober. I know I've been sober for 5 years. I have no idea how many days that is. I have no idea how many numbers that and how many hours that is or anything like that. I just know that it's been over 5 years, since July 2015. But what I did was I celebrated my years. So when I did 30 days, 90 days, 6 months, and then I started celebrating every year. And so the whole year, I'm not focusing on whether or not I'm going to make it to 5 years. I'm focusing on the days that I'm staying sober. Every day is a new day. Every day, I focus on that day. And then by the time I know it, I'm already at another year. Oh, thanks, you guys. If you started over, would you do methadone treatment or Suboxone? Suboxone. You know why? Because Suboxone, you don't have to go all the time. You have more freedom. Suboxone, because when I was on methadone, I abused it. Suboxone, because it's a partial opioid instead of a full opioid agonist, and so it's just the better way for me to go. Now, if I had known back then that there was a Vivitrol, I would have gotten the Vivitrol shot, because I had 30 days sober from opiates. But I did not even know about Vivitrol, and nobody told me about it either. Yeah, they totally cut my live off, girl. Somebody reported it. Do the cravings ever go away? They go away and they subside. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some days where I don't even think about using, you guys, and I tell stories about my drug addiction all the time, and that doesn't trigger me or anything. Somebody else asked me that, like, does it trigger you or make you uncomfortable to share the stories? Not at all. Not at all. Like, my coping mechanism, my coping skill is sharing my experience and talking. Like, it's really saved my life. I'm telling you guys, like, telling my story has been the best thing that ever happened to me, because it helps me stay accountable and it helps me remember where I came from. But it doesn't ever go away fully. I feel like I'll always have days where I think about using, and some days I don't. What do I think about kratom? So, this is a good question, and I know you guys all want to know, because everybody always asks me this. So, I think that kratom helps people that do not have the disease of addiction. In my experience, people who utilize kratom that have the disease of addiction end up taking copious amounts of kratom, and then they find themselves stuck on it. And so I think that for people that have chronic pain, it helps a lot of people. I know it does. And I see that it helps people. But my only concern is, like, I know for me that if I got on kratom and I'm able to obtain a euphoria from it, then I'm going to take more to get more of a euphoria. And so Dr. B had made a whole video series about kratom, and people were getting really mad about him talking about kratom and saying that he doesn't recommend it to people that have addictions, right? He doesn't think it's a good thing. It needs to be monitored. It needs to be FDA approved, you know what I mean? And it's because, like, I know people who are on kratom, you guys, who are taking so much every single day. They are totally addicted to it. They want off of it, but they don't know how to get off of it. They've tried to taper, they tried to do this, and they tried to do that. And so for some people, it can be just as bad as an opiate. So I think it just really depends on the person. I have friends that are utilizing kratom and they are able to take it and it helps them. And they drink the tea and they're like, but they're not like, I know those people. And then I know other people who buy kilos of kratom and go through pounds a day. Like, I'm serious, you guys. I'm talking, I don't know, not pounds probably, but a lot. Okay. Like, they're dosing like tablespoons. Okay. Tablespoons like 10 times a day. Like, it is serious. Like, and then I see advocates for kratom commenting on people's experience when they're sharing this, that this is happening, and they're saying, oh, well, how are you doing that? Kratom's not addicting. And I'm like, are you fucking lying? Are you kidding me? Like, kratom, they have different strains, okay? They have strains that make you feel like you're on opiates. They have strains that make you have energy, and all these different kinds of ways that they make you feel, right? And so why would so many people be taking this if it didn't make them feel differently? Okay? Like, it's just the truth. So if you have an addiction, be weary, because you can find yourself doing the same thing with kratom that you were doing with your drug of choice. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. I support you if you're on it. I don't hate you. I love you. Okay? I just want you to be careful. How do you feel about medical marijuana for pain patients with addiction issues? Honestly, you guys, medical marijuana, I am more supportive of than I am of kratom, because I believe that marijuana is just marijuana. It's not like, I'm telling you guys, like, you can just stop taking marijuana and you're not going to go through withdrawal like you do with kratom. And so I totally support medical marijuana. I think it's amazing, you guys. I really do. I was going to ask the same question. I think it really does depend on the person, you guys. What do you think of this microdosing stuff in people with addiction? Girl, I found this lady on TikTok, you guys. Her name is Liv, okay? Olivia. And she has been sharing her microdosing journey with mushrooms and LSD. And yes, like mushrooms and LSD. And I will tell you this. I don't know how I feel about dosing LSD, but I will tell you that I am extremely, extremely curious about microdosing mushrooms. And the more that I experience my depression in recovery and the lack of motivation and the no excitement, the more I think that what would microdosing mushrooms be something that could help me. So I think that I need to do more research on it. That's what I think. But I see people that it has helped them so much. And I think that mushrooms, I think that they could be really great. I think that, you know, I know in my experience from taking mushrooms that I never had a bad experience taking mushrooms. They were actually the most fun, amazing feeling I've ever had. Why do people on meth pick their skin? Melysa, that's a great question. So when I picked my skin, you guys, it was because I felt like there was something under my skin or in my skin. Like I was seeing something there. There's also times where I've had like pimples and stuff, and I thought I was helping the pimple by squeezing it and getting all the stuff out and doing all that, right? But I was actually making it totally worse. And so a lot of it comes down to like this hallucination and then this hyper focused on certain things. One time I was picking at my legs because I thought that there were like bugs in my skin. And you know what it was? I was pulling each hair out of my leg individually. Do you think your depression came on once you got down to such a low dose of Suboxone? Hey, Casey, I actually feel like the lower I've gotten, the better it's made me feel. But because that's what prompted me to really start tapering. If y'all want to know the truth, is that I was really struggling with just like feeling no motivation and no energy and just feeling like blah. And so I started tapering because I had always heard from other people that, you know, when they started going down lower, that they felt better. And so that's what prompted me to start tapering. But now that I'm down on a lower amount, that could be, you know, it could be. I know I'm going to go through a hard time because I'm going to be taking this medication out of my system eventually. And so I'm going to go through a transition period. And so I'm trying to figure out all the different, like, ways that I can assist myself through that. Medical marijuana, you know, exercise, diet, whatever I can do. But I know that it's going to be something I'm going to have to go through, you know. When you hallucinate, how real does it seem? It seems so real that you think that, I am telling you this right now. When I hallucinated Cy from Duck Dynasty, even though that happened years ago, like, I still have to tell myself, like, Nichole, there's no way he was fucking in the vent. Because that is how real it was. That's how real I saw him. He was there. It was, I swear to you guys, it was so real. It was really real. I felt there were bugs inside me. Yes, Nichole. What'd you say? So, yes, very, very real. I feel opposite. I feel like the lower I go, I have no motivation and depression. I keep having to go back up. Oh, baby girl, we're all different, you know, and that could be totally what it is for you, you know. Hey, Shelly, I was thinking about Sublocade, but then I read about that you have to, when you get on Sublocade, you need to be on 12 milligrams or more of Suboxone. And I'm only on 1.5 to 2 milligrams. And so going on Sublocade would be going up for me. Hey, Cindy. Does insurance cover the full amount of treatment? Okay, Sydney. So it depends on what kind of insurance you have, first of all. Okay, so let's say you have Blue Cross Blue Shield or any kind of PPO insurance. Okay, what it does is, if you can find an in-network provider, an in-network treatment center, and I'm pretty sure that, yeah, it would pay all of it. If you can't find somebody that's in network with your insurance, then what you'll have to do is pay the deductible. So if you have an insurance policy with a $300 deductible, you would have to pay your $300 to get into treatment. And that's how it works at the treatment center I work at, is that if you have a deductible, that's what you have to pay, because we are not in network with anyone. Hopefully we will be one day, though. And, you know, if you're someone who is like looking for treatment, I think the best thing to do to make sure, if you can't afford to pay for treatment, because it's expensive, you guys, there are treatments out there that are available. Like, okay, for instance, Dr. B has an outpatient treatment, intensive outpatient, where you do 3 groups a week, you do therapy, and then you have the option for medication management. That is a more affordable form of treatment than going into a 30-day residential treatment center where you're paying basically $1,000 a day. Okay, you're paying $1,000 a day for 30 days of treatment in a residential treatment center. For IOP with Dr. B, you would pay $1,200 a month for your treatment instead of per day. And so, you know, when I was getting into treatment back whenever I was in my active addiction, I had Blue Cross Blue Shield for the time I went, and my insurance paid for the whole amount of my treatment. And that's because the treatment center that I went to was in network with my insurance, and I was able to go stay there for 30 days here in Arkansas at Oasis in Little Rock. So yeah. I have heard a lot about taking about the Sublocade injection, and I actually had a man reach out to me who has been on Suboxone, but he's down to like 6 milligrams or something, and we were looking into the Sublocade shot, but it's 100 milligrams and then a 300 milligram shot, and it releases that throughout your system throughout the month. And so for me to get on that much Suboxone, to get on Sublocade, it would be, that is literally what he said was it releases 12 to, I think 16 to 12 to 16 milligrams throughout your bloodstream, throughout your system, throughout the day, throughout the month. Hi, Nichole. How do you hydrate your humongous wop? I heard humongous. Well, you want to know, really? How do I hydrate my humongous wop? Is that Andrew? Andrew, is that you? If that is Andrew, I am literally dying right now. Well, it is, isn't it? You're so crazy. Y'all, okay. So now that you caught me off guard. What was I going to say? I read it out loud too. So anyway, thank you for making me laugh. I needed to laugh. That video that I did over there on TikTok just hit 20K or 20 something views on it. And so the last video I had that grew that quickly was, what do you think someone with addiction should do for pain if they have to go to the hospital and need something to take for pain? Sydney, that's a good question. Good question, girl. Keep the questions coming, y'all. I love answering questions. So this is my suggestion, okay? If you are someone who has an addiction, whether it be to pain medication or opiates, benzos, or methamphetamine, doesn't matter. If you are having legitimate pain and you need to get a prescription for pain pills, this is what you do. You have a plan, okay? You get with someone that you trust that can hold that medication for you and give it to you as prescribed, okay? So that way, you are not going to abuse it because somebody else is going to be there. And then also talk to your friends. If you have friends in recovery and you need accountability. So you're going to tell your friends, hey, I'm getting a prescription for hydrocodone. I'm letting my mom hold it. She's going to distribute it to me as prescribed, yada, 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 right? And that way your friends can look out for you and be like, girl, are you sure you didn't take 2 extra hydros today? Girl, are you taking that medication as prescribed? You know, all that good stuff. So have a plan. But I don't think there's anything wrong, and I don't think you should have to suffer because you're an addict, okay? And that's that mentality and that thinking that we need to get away from in the world. That just because somebody has an addiction doesn't mean that they shouldn't be allotted the same pain reliever as somebody that doesn't have an addiction. It makes me so mad. And it also makes me upset, like, when somebody like me, like I've been sober for 5 years, right? I have the tools and I have the support that if I broke my leg today and the doctor wanted to give me Percocet, you're damn right I'm going to fucking take that Percocet. Hey, we are everywhere. My dog got to go pee. Hold on, guys. I'm going to take it, but I'm going to make sure that I have somebody that I trust that can give it to me as prescribed. Like in my situation, my husband is also a recovering addict. I wouldn't have my husband give them to me. I would give them to my mother-in-law, and I would have her give them to me as prescribed. I would literally drive to her house to have her dose me every day if I had to. Thanks, girl. Share. Sublocade is a once-a-month injection. It is injected into your stomach right underneath this, like right up on the top, because you can feel it. And it's like a gel, and then it comes to a little ball. It forms a little ball, and it sits there in your stomach, and it releases Suboxone, buprenorphine, throughout the month evenly, so that way you don't have to dose every single day. I had to take Oxy after my C-section, and I made sure I had a plan. Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing, you guys, like we are so brandy. We are so hard on ourselves, and also society thinks that we, should be like not able to take medication, and that's just not true. Now, if you're somebody like me who's on medication-assisted treatment, right? And the pain is bad enough to where your doctor thinks that you should take pain medication. Because a lot of the times, if you're on medication-assisted treatment, buprenorphine, Suboxone is going to do the job. You're going to be okay. You know what I mean? Hey, Rachel, what's up, girl? No, I have not tried the shot, but I want you guys to know that I have found some girls on TikTok who have been sharing their experience with the shot. And they said it's amazing. Like, I'm hearing so many good things about this shot, you guys. The only thing I think is hard about it is that it's hard to get. Like, your doctor has to call it in, then they have to order it and all that stuff. How does one taper off? Do they have lower and lower and lower injections? So share, listen to this. I know a girl, she has a YouTube channel. If you type in Sublocade, it'll pull up her YouTube channel. She stopped taking the injection over a year ago, and she has not went through any withdrawal. But they say that the medication can stay in your system for up to a year. So I'm sure she still has trace amounts of buprenorphine in her system, and that's why she hasn't gone through withdrawal. But what I would think is that it would slowly leave your body little by little, right? And so that's why nobody's experiencing like withdrawal, like really bad withdrawal. You know what I mean? But I don't know anybody who's been off of it longer than a year. So if I can find somebody who's been off of it like 2 years, then we'll find out. Maybe we'll have them on the channel. I'm on methadone, but Toradol was a lifesaver. Hey, Brandy, that's awesome, girl. I'm proud of you. And I wanted you guys to know, so I came on here to do a live stream tonight because I was over on TikTok, and we were talking about, like, just how I got into my active addiction, what it was like. There was, like, 40 people in there asking questions. It was so awesome. And somebody reported my live stream for vulgar content. There's so many people who are hating on TikTok. It's unbelievable to me. But I just hit 27,000 followers over there. And so we were having a live stream. It was going so good, right? And I was like, fuck it, dude. We're coming over here and we're going to do it on TikTok or on YouTube because they can't do that to me here. I've been on subs since 2012, only 2 milligrams, but scared to get off because of withdrawal because I have heart problems. Nervous to get off, but that sounds like an option. Rachel, listen to me, girl, okay? If you're down to 2 milligrams, just go slow. You don't have to jump off anytime soon. You know, take your time. I'm definitely drained of energy, though. Depression, suicidal ideation. Yeah, Brandy, absolutely. And I think what happens, so we were also talking about this on TikTok. When we were in our active addiction, you guys, we abused drugs and we changed the chemistry in our brains. Okay. And so what I think has happened to us is that a lot of us, our brains we don't have the dopamine and the serotonin that a person has that has never done drugs. Okay. And so that's why so many people relapse and go back to drugs because of the way we are feeling right now. And it sucks. It sucks. And you know what? Hey, Alpha Mom. What's up, girl? This is one of the things that I have been really, really thinking about the most. And I know, listen, I'm a huge advocate for staying sober. You know, you guys know how I am, okay? But this depression and this lack of motivation that I'm struggling with, and I've been struggling with for like 3 years, it has been the one thing that has made me think, like, I could take meth and have energy. I could do some Adderall and have energy. And so there's got to be something better than this. There's got to be something better than this. And so that is why I have been researching medical marijuana and microdosing mushrooms. It was by far the best live yet that I have attended. I jumped over here after, and I'm glad to say you're rocking it still. Oh, I love you. I actually like being on a low dose. It helps with PTSD, etc. So I don't necessarily mind being on it. Well, then just stay on it, Rachel. You don't have to get off of it. You do not have to get off of it. And Cindy, tell them, Cindy. Cindy is my very, 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 very best friend. And she has been on Suboxone for 16 years, you guys. And she is never going to get off Suboxone. And there is nothing wrong with that, you know? There's nothing wrong with that. Nichole, you know I love you, and I don't mean any disrespect, but I thought for sure you would be off Suboxone by now. No, I don't. No disrespect taken. I don't feel like you're disrespecting me. But see, that is the problem with a lot of people, is that they think that we have. Here's the thing. I might stay on Suboxone for the rest of my life. I might get down to like 0.25 and feel great and then say, the hell with it. I'm staying on. That is my prerogative. And that's why I am trying to advocate for us not being so hard on ourselves. And I'm also trying, like I said earlier, to bridge the gap between active addicts and sober addicts. I think that there's not enough support for people that are still using drugs. Okay. And I'm trying to bridge that gap, and so that way we can all be together. And I want people to know that they can come here without any judgment. And I am extra hard on myself, you guys. I'm extra hard on myself. And when I first got on Suboxone, I had been shunned and made fun of so bad for sharing about being on Suboxone that I was like constantly talking about getting off of it, constantly talking about getting off of it. And then I stopped and I said, fuck those people. Fuck them. Fuck what they think, right? And I started being okay with being on the medication. The reason why I started tapering is because I was feeling like the medication was giving me these adverse side effects, depression, lack of motivation. But what I'm starting to realize is I don't even think it's from the Suboxone. I think it's from all the damage that I've done to my brain for the 13 years of shooting methamphetamine, shooting cocaine, shooting oxy, shooting heroin into my bloodstream, eating copious amounts of benzodiazepines all day, every day, drinking alcohol like a fish, and so on and so forth. I think that there's got to be something that can make this better for me, and I don't know what that is. I'm trying to tap into this like new era of people giving information about all these things that can help us, because but I'm also realizing that if I'm on medication for the rest of my life, there's nothing wrong with that, and I have to be okay with that. Because here's the thing, you guys, I'm on Lexapro, I am on Wellbutrin, and I'm not going to stop taking Wellbutrin or Lexapro because they have both helped me with my depression and anxiety, okay? Wellbutrin has helped me so much. I do want to get off Lexapro because I feel like it don't do shit. I feel like Wellbutrin helps me a lot, you know? But Lexapro has just kind of stopped working. But I don't take any offense to that. I just want people to understand that like every person is different, you guys. And so the trauma and the chaos and the shit that I went through in my active addiction might be different, and I might need longer on the medication, or I might need to be on it forever. And that's kind of where I'm trying to get at, because I don't buy in to the AA abstinence-based recovery anymore, okay? And I know a lot of you guys are into the 12 steps, and I love you and I support you, but I don't believe that abstinence is the only way to recovery. And I don't believe that I'm a person who will ever be abstinent from all mind or mood altering substances. I think that I will be on medication for my mental health for the rest of my life. And Suboxone is a medication that I use for my mental health to treat my addiction. Hey, Sonia, I look forward to seeing you here. I know you explained how your parents found out about your addiction. How did they handle it? Sydney, thank you so much for being here, girl. So I don't know if I've ever told you guys this story on my YouTube channel. Once my parents found out, they found out because I was at a basketball game and I was cheering. I was 17 years old and I got arrested for a public intox. I was drinking Seagram 7 and 7-Up and I got arrested for a PI. When my parents picked me up, I was crying. I was bawling my eyes out and told my dad, you know, that I was addicted to meth and alcohol, and yeah, I needed help. But my parents didn't know how to help me. And my dad and my mom was crying and my dad was so upset, you guys. And they were like, okay, you're just going to quit. That's what you're going to do. You're going to quit. And I don't even think I said I was addicted. I think I just said I was getting high. And so I don't even think we all understood the severity of my addiction at that time. And so I just tried to quit. But then I went behind my parents' back and got right back on alcohol and and weed and cocaine and methamphetamine. And by the time I was 18, I was a full-fledged meth addict. I was smoking meth before I went to work. I was snorting lines at my job. I was on meth, like I was on it. And my parents knew that I was struggling, but they didn't know how to help me. You know, they didn't know how to help me. And so they watched me go downhill for about 4 years, 3 or 4 years, until I hit 21. When I hit 21, my mom helped me get into rehab in Hot Springs, a rehab called Quapaw House. It's shut down now. But back then, it was a really good treatment center. And I went to that treatment center. Hey, Rachel, I'll be in California in February. I have no plans to get off. Yep, exactly. Same. I've lost friends telling my business that I got to go to the clinic. Not fair at all. Horrible stigma. Yep. Same. We appreciate it. That gap is, yes, it is. Just like my depression lost people from stigma, because I'm honest, it's who I am. I know what you mean, girl. Love you too, Cher. My therapist says I'm way too hard on myself and that I feel bad for even having depression. You know what, Brandy? You are too hard on yourself, and you don't need to feel bad. You need to understand that what you're going through is something that a lot of people go through, and that you're not alone. And I think that one of the best things you could do for yourself is utilize support from other people that know what you're going through, and hang out with people like us who understand what it's like to have depression, you know. And I don't want to say this and sound insensitive, but I'm going to tell you what I do. Sometimes I just have to push through it, and I know I'm not trying to sound insensitive. Please do not think that. I have to push through it because I have a son, and I have to get out of bed. I have to do my work. I have to make my money. I have to do my job, right? I want to get to a place in my life where I enjoy being up and around and hanging out. Like right now, I'm feeling good right now. I'm having a good day. I woke up in good spirits. But what happened was I woke up this morning, and honestly, you guys, I didn't get up and moving until noon. And that's every day of my life. Every day of my life, I stay up really late because I'm a night person, and I work on all my stuff at night. And then I wake up at 10 or 9 or 10. I wake up at 6. I take my son to school, and then I lay back down until about 9 or 10. And then I get up and I kind of just go through the day. And what makes me excited is you guys. What makes me excited is helping people and being of service and doing videos with you guys and talking about recovery. And this helps me. If I didn't have this to do, I don't know what I'd be doing. If I didn't have all of you guys, if Austin and Dr. B and Dr. G hadn't hired me, and I didn't have like a focus or a job, I would be on here talking every day on my live streams like when I first started out. That's what I would do, because I'm not going to get high. But I have utilized my channel as a way to keep me on track. How does one get on that medication? On Suboxone? You just go to the doctor, Nicole. There's only certain doctors that prescribe Suboxone, so you just got to look up Suboxone doctors in your area. If you're in California, you can see Dr. B, but if you're not in California, then you can go to getsuboxone.com, and they will help you find a doctor. Yeah, Sona, I used to love going to Alcoholics Anonymous. I used to love Alcoholics Anonymous, but I just started not really believing that abstinence thing. Like, because I have seen people in my experience in real life. Now, there are people who can achieve abstinence, right? But then I want you also to listen to this, you guys. There's probably like 75% of people in AA are not even abstinent themselves. Their abstinence They're abstinent from alcohol. They're not abstinent from everything else. They're on medication. They're on antidepressants. They're on medication for their anxiety. They take pain medication for their back or their neck. And so I want you guys to really think about that. There are some people that are abstinent from drugs, pills, okay? Pills and alcohol and meth and all that. But there's probably a lot more people in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous that are only abstinent from alcohol. Okay? Only from alcohol, but everything else they're still on. And so I want you to really think about that. There's a lot of people that go around and they preach this abstinence recovery and that's all they preach, but really they're over there on medication, okay? And so how does that make any sense? And that's what I had to start realizing. I had to start realizing that these people that were standing up on this soapbox preaching to me about me not being sober because I was on Suboxone were probably people that were on just alcoholics and think that because, and they're right. Listen, if they were an alcoholic and they can take their pain medication as prescribed, then they're sober they're sober. You know what I mean? And that's the thing though, but that goes two ways. It goes here too. If I can take my medication as prescribed, I'm sober too. You feel me? Carrie, or who said Sona for Suboxone. Dr. B is in Santa Ana. I know what you meant, Rachel. Is marijuana a gateway drug? Hey, Tropical Fruit Loops, what's up, baby? I feel like for me, it opened up the door to me to have access to people that were using other substances. And I mean that I was young. I was 17. So I do believe that for kids when they're younger, like 16, 17 years old, that it absolutely can be a gateway. And what I mean by gateway is that they will be exposed to other people who are on other substances. Because when I started smoking weed, then my drug dealer also, or my weed dealer also did cocaine and had pills. Do you know what I'm saying? But I don't think weed is bad. And I really do. I actually love marijuana. And whenever I get the chance, whenever I'm like hanging out with my sister, if I haven't seen her in a little while, and she has her little medical marijuana pen, I ain't fucked up. I'll take me a little pull off that. And then I'm good for the day. I haven't smoked in like 6 months, but every once a year or so, I'll smoke a little off of that if I see her. And then I fucking have the best day of my life. I eat fucking candy and chocolates and pizza. That's why I can't smoke every day, because y'all think I'm fat right now. Imagine if I smoked weed every day. I do not think there's anything wrong with it. I started on 10 milligrams of Lexapro a few months ago, not feeling any better. I'll go to a higher dose. 10 milligrams is the lowest, but if no result, we'll need to try something else. Yep. Yeah, that's okay, Cher. Same thing. Like, it's the same thing. Right now, I'm so dependent on Kratom, and I'm taking so much and spending so much money. I need to get off. I'm scared. Nicole, I'm telling you, girl, you need to text me on the Real Talk Recovery phone line, and I will help you, okay? You need to call me. If you're from Sacramento, I'm serious. Here's the phone number, okay? 1-800... Oh, I don't even know it. I don't have it memorized. You can text me on the Real Talk Recovery phone line. It's 501-991-5149. Just text me on this number, and I will get you on the schedule for an appointment. 501-991-5149. 501-991-5149. So, to see Dr. B for medication-assisted treatment. When will I come to Georgia? Well, Carrie, when I come out to see Nick in Florida. Yes, Nick, listen to me, guys. I was just talking about you on my live stream on TikTok, Nick. I was telling everybody that my best friend Nick has access to a treatment center in Florida. It's a year-long program and it's free. But that's the problem that I'm running into with a lot of people is they say they don't have insurance. They don't have any money and they want treatment and they want to get sober. And then I tell them that the program is a year and they're not willing to do it. And so what can I do? You know, you can't help somebody when they're wanting to be picky and choosy. And here's the thing, you guys, like if you want to get sober and you're dying and you're desperate, going to Florida for a year, it will save your life. Okay. And it's beautiful down there and you'll get to hang out with Nick. I look forward to seeing you guys too. It's yes, I wasn't a fit. It wasn't a yeah, I mean, and here's the thing, you guys, like some people like Nick can be abstinent. Nicholas is happy. He works out. He feels great. He has a successful business. He has a successful relationship. I mean, and he's doing well. For me, I need something to help me. I am so up and down in my moods. And you guys know this because you guys literally see me break down from time to time here on the channel. And it's like, I'm not balanced in my mind, chemically balanced. And so being on medication helps me to be balanced. And so that's what I mean by, you know, some people might not ever be able to be off of medication, you know, and that's why I couldn't do the AA. I was just not doing it. I couldn't do it anymore because it wasn't me. It wasn't I felt like I was a fake. I felt like I was a fake in AA because I wasn't doing what everybody else was doing. And I was on MAT and, you know, and I felt like I didn't fit in. But I'll tell you this, I am so happy that Jeff started Mara because I might not make it to all the Zoom meetings, but I'm going to tell y'all something. I 100% believe in what Mara preaches. I believe in the steps and the traditions. I believe in non-judgmental, all-inclusive recovery. And that is why I love Mara. And you guys that watch me on TikTok, y'all already know. The link to Mara is in my link tree on my TikTok. I make videos promoting it all the time because I know so many of you guys do not even know that it exists. And every Friday we have a Mara meeting here. They're a little different than the ones on Zoom because it's usually just me up here sharing, but we still have a good time. This Friday, Amanda's going to come on and tell her story, and so that will be good. But I'm just a huge advocate for non-judgmental, all-inclusive recovery support. Okay. Hey, Sam. Okay, I'm trying to read all of your questions, okay? Marijuana. Does Dr. B take cash patients? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yes, we do. And so here's the thing, you guys. Dr. B has the outpatient treatment, but then we also have a medical office, a doctor's office. And so if you're somebody who's struggling with depression, anxiety, you need pain management, you need to taper off of benzos, you're trying to get off of opiates, anything kratom, and you are local and if you're in California, you don't have to be in Santa Ana, but that's where we're located because we can do telemedicine now. You just need to be able to at least come in one time so that way we can see you in person once. That's what he likes. He would like for you to come in one time. If you can't come in the first time, that's okay. Eventually we'll get you down so we can see you in person. But yeah, he has his doctor's office and I answer. Oh, speaking of them, hold on guys, that's Dr. is this guy? Who is little you? Okay. What I'll do is I'll end this. I'll start a new live.